One of the funny things, well, they're really not, it's really not funny, but one of the amusing things about, one of the few amusing things, I should say, about the Capitol Hill riots is that most of these people that converged on the Capitol, who were involved in it, were not, even though they looked it, they weren't blue-collar, beer-swilling, white males who are upset that their prospects went down the toilet. That's really not what a lot of these people, or most of these people, were. Most of them were very well-to-do because it costs money to travel, unless you're local, relatively local. It costs money to go to D.C. and stay for a few days. And remember, the great majority of these people didn't breach the barriers that were there at the Trump rally, but there were at least 5,000 who did, and that's a scary damn mob. But one of them was found to be not just well-to-do or upscale. I mean, he's downright filthy rich. And this is a kid, or I shouldn't say a kid. I don't know how old he is, but his name is Leo Brent Bozell IV. Now, when you have the fourth after your name, that usually tells a person that these people are pretty rich. Not necessarily, but usually, if they're using that fourth around, throwing that around. But anyway, he was charged with his alleged involvement in the Capitol insurrection. And in an affidavit, it says here, filed in the case, which remained under seal until Tuesday, an FBI special agent stated that Bozell could be seen in footage inside the Capitol during the rioting on January 6th. And you can find that footage, including for a period of time on the floor in the U.S. Senate. At one point, Bozell allegedly went to the Senate gallery and moved a camera so that the camera was pointing down to the ground of the balcony area. This was done as protesters began to enter the main floor of the U.S. Senate. By pointing the camera to the floor, the camera was unable to record protesters entering the main floor of the U.S. Senate chamber. It kind of sounds like he was trying to cover his ass, but everybody had a damn cell phone that was in there. So he was going to get caught anyway, and plus the dipshit had his hoodie that stated what college he went to, or not college, but what hoity-toity private school he went to before he went to college, presumably. And that was the dead giveaway. Plus, he's kind of fair-skinned, I think probably a redhead. And his dad, who's the same age as I am, was a redhead. And then his daddy, I think before him, was all with the same name, except he was the second. He was also a redhead. So, not that it matters, but, you know, it made him fairly recognizable. But anyhow, so he's got he's 41, it says here. Bozell, 41, is facing charges of disorderly conduct, knowingly entering or remaining in a restricted building or grounds, and obstructing an official proceeding. And anyhow, NPR couldn't get his take on it, but, I mean, he's caught. So, he's going to get at least a slap on the wrist. And that's probably all he's going to get. But you know, old Bozell, this baby Bozell, as I said, his daddy is Brett Bozell III. Brett Bozell III is a right-wing activist, and he helped found the media research, whatever the hell it's called, outfit. And anyhow, he was always looking around to see if there was quote-unquote liberal bias. And he's also been involved in the anti-abortion crusade. His daddy, Brett Bozell II, was mostly an anti-abortion activist. And he wasn't born into a Catholic family. When I looked up, he converted after his dad died. But Backtrack. Brent Bozell the third founded the Media Research Center. I've got notes here. I don't know why I don't look at them, but Brent Bozell, his dad, the second Brent Bozell, and I know it's hard to keep him straight, but anyway, he converted to Catholicism, and he married William F. Buckley Jr.'s sister named Patricia Buckley, and Brent Bozell was born in 1926 and he died in 1997. So that's the grandfather of this Brent Bozell. And then Patricia Buckley Bozell was born in 1927 and she died in 2008. So she died about at the same year her brother died. I think he died in 2008. 2007 or 2008. But William F. Buckley, everybody knows who he was. He was founded National Review, and he was heavily involved in right-wing politics and stuff. But he was known to bloviate at the mouth, take 10,000 words to say something that can be said in one sentence, and using all kinds of big words to try to impress everybody how smart he was. And he wasn't stupid, but, you know, it was kind of dazzling people with BS. So his sister, Buckley's sister, and her husband, Bozell, they had 10 kids. So I guess that was kind of to offset William F. Buckley's lack of having very many kids. He only had one, and he's the novelist and satirist Christopher Buckley, who's 68, will be 69 this year. And that son didn't toe the family line too much on the right-wing thing because he supported Obama in 2008. But anyhow, another important person in that family was James Buckley. And believe it or not, and he's a brother of William F., and he was older, and he's still alive. He's in about a couple of weeks, he's going to be 98 years old. And Buckley ran on the Conservative Party in New York. You know, they have a lot of different political parties. So basically, he caucused with the Republicans. And he was elected in 1971 on a plurality, and he was only in there one term. But the thing that Buckley did, and he was mostly known for, again, another anti-abortion activist, but his big achievement, and it really isn't anything to snicker at, but his big achievement in the Senate was drafting the bill, authoring the bill, the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act, FERPA. And that is a big deal because that compels schools to, if on the request of a child's parents, if they're underage, or the child themselves, if they're over, you know, adults, to access their educational records. So that's a big deal. And it also protects privacy. And back in the old days, teachers and other academics might write something in their notes in the student's cumulative file that might be considered derogatory, and employers or future colleges or something, they would get hold of those cumulative files and deny somebody a job or deny them school attendance at a school based on derogatory information in those files. So now that doesn't happen much anymore, because if you have anything in that cum file, you better have it backed up with solid proof of anything. So that's what Buckley did. That's when you hear the word Buckley Amendment, that's what or FERPA, that's the guy that drafted it and introduced it into Congress. And it passed in Family Educational Rights, 1974. So it was a landmark bill. So, all of that, and a fun fact about this current Bozell IV, his grandmother, Patricia Buckley Bozell, was also pretty feisty. One time, radical feminist T. Grace Atkinson, who is 82 now as of this video, she spoke at Catholic University, and I think it was around 1970 or 71, and she had said statements about the Catholic Church that Patricia Buckley thought were blasphemous. So what Patricia Buckley did, let's see if I can find it, is she walked up to where T. Grace Atkinson spoke, and I hope that's clear. My stupid reflections in the way there, but she attempted to hit her. In fact, I think she did strike her. I'm not sure. She might not have actually hit her, but she attempted to, and that photo shows her. But I think she did strike her. She wanted her to shut up. She thought she was stepping on sacred Catholic ideas. So anyhow, I thought I'd throw all this mishmash together because I thought it was interesting that one of the people arrested in the Capitol Hill Riots was none other than a member of the Buckley family, Buckley Bozell family. And he kind of brought embarrassment, at the very least, on that family. But anyhow, he'll probably get off with a slap on the wrist.